What is going on, people of the internet? Xiagax here, and in this video here, this is going to be the portion of the how to play Battlefield 4 series, and this is going to be how to pilot some of these vehicles here. Now, I'm going to start with the land vehicles. I find these to be the easiest of all. They're pretty basic, but in case if you haven't played Battlefield at all and you're just wondering how this works, I can give you pretty much kind of a brief rundown on how some of these work here. So why don't we go ahead and start with, a quad here. Alright. So when you're gonna get on here, it's pretty simple. You just to push the stick, left stick to move forward, and click the right stick to go to third person, and the right stick again to go to third person. Seems pretty simple. You just push forward, and you're going to be also kind of tilting the stick left and right to kind of turn around. You're not going to be using the right stick at all to control anything at all. So it's pretty basic. The land vehicles, I would say that the land vehicles are pretty basic. So just driving around here, you're just going to be using the left stick entirely. You're not going to be using the right stick. So moving on, we're going to go on to the sea vehicles. He has a suicide here. These are going to be a little trickier, but not by much. I would say probably out of the most, the PWC here or the jet ski. This is where it kind of gets a little tough, because as I'll be driving around out here, what'll happen is if you turn a little too tight, you're going to turn right all the way around. So when you're going to be turning with this, you're going to want to be ever so slight, and you don't want to go around too quick. You don't want to set your stick all the way to the left. Again, this is like the land vehicles. You're not going to be using the right stick other than all to change first person or the third person view here. And that's pretty much it for the sea vehicles here. There's not a whole lot to those. But then comes the challenge of the air vehicles, and as you'll see, there's two different types. There's going to be planes, and there's going to be helicopters. So I'm going to go ahead and start with jet here, or plane, whichever you want to call it. You're going to start out in first person here. Now, the jets are going to be pretty plain, or they're going to be plain and simple here. If you're going to be wanting to if you're going to be wanting to move up and down, you're going to be using the right stick, but you're going to pull back on the right stick. That's going to cause you to climb. And then just the opposite, you're going to push forward on the right stick, and that's going to cause you to go down. So now, if you're going to use left and right on the left stick, you're not going to be turning that much. You're just going to be barely turning just a little bit. That's not going to help you a whole lot. So now, a lot of people might get a little confused when you're trying to turn with a jet here. So what I kind of do is, if you're going to be turning with a jet, seems pretty simple, but it could take a little practice, especially because you're working on 3 axes at once here. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the right stick. You're going to turn it to whichever side you're going. And of course, let's say if I want to just go right, I'm going to turn my plane to the right here. I'm going to go pull back, and that's going to have me turn a lot more sharp to the right than if I were to use the left stick here. So that's pretty plain and simple there. And it could take a little getting used to with some of these here. They definitely do. It took me a little bit. And your basic weapons on the, and this will apply to all the vehicles here. I probably should have said that earlier. But you're right. You're gonna have weapons on the vehicles. Obviously, you're gonna have right trigger, and that's all. And that's really all it's gonna be. It's just gonna be right trigger. And in all cases with any vehicle, you're gonna have a way of kind of being avoidable, or you're going to avoid detection, whether that be a lock on from any kind of system. That's just going to be simply a down on the D-pad. You'll throw out flares or infrared smoke or something. So that's the jet here, pretty much. And as you get used to, and I would think with the air vehicles, as you get used to them, it'll take a little bit of getting used to, because these are probably a little bit more. I would say they're a little bit more difficult to get used to, but the more you play with them, the more you get a little more comfortable, the more you kind of get into muscle memory, that these things will get a little easier to work with. So we're going to move on now to the helicopter, and I would say the helicopter, probably out of any vehicle, this is going to be the most difficult to maneuver with, to move around with. I would say the helicopter is like that because you're actually working on 3 axes at the same time. You're moving up and down, forward and back, and left to right. Well, this is kind of spinning on this plane, but left to right here. So as you saw here, I'm just gonna get back on the ground here to make it pretty simple. So, all right, on the ground. So what you're gonna do, don't do what I do. So when you want to get off the ground, you're gonna be pressing up on the left stick. That's gonna cause you to rise. And it's easy enough because it's gonna keep you in the same position. It's not gonna go down unless you pull down on the left stick. That'll cause you to go down. Now, to move forward, what you're gonna do is you're gonna press forward on the right stick, and you're going to want to push up on the left stick so it kind of propels you forward. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is that forward momentum doesn't keep you going, and as you're moving down, it's you're just going to point right down at the ground, and you're just going to go crashing right into the ground. So you're going to hold the left stick to move forward. But now, a bit of warning with the helicopters: you don't want to push forward too much, because otherwise you're going to go straight into the ground regardless of how much you push forward on the left stick. So you want to keep it kind of at most at a 45-degree angle. Now the next thing you can do here is you can kind of do a bit of a flat spin, and that's going to be left and right on the left stick. You also kind of lean, and that's going to be on the right stick. Now to lean, that's going to kind of move you, that's going to move your position left and right, whereas kind of flat spin is just going to move your it's going to move your point of view around. So it's kind of like you're reversing the sticks if you were just a regular ground unit. So now, again, the helicopter can probably be the most challenging vehicle to fly around with, but if you give it enough time and you just practice it enough, eventually you'll get used to it. I would definitely suggest, if you're going to get Battlefield here, or if you already have Battlefield and you need a little bit of practice, I suggest coming to the test range. Just kind of fly around in circles around the island here, and you'll definitely get used to the helicopter. And that pretty much covers this video. Don't do what I did there, because you're gonna have a bad time there. But anyhow, if you guys like this video, leave a like in the like box, leave a comment if you like. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and please subscribe for more great videos from me. And that pretty much covers them all. So thank you all for watching, and may God bless.